Welcome to another episode of Azure NetApp Files How-To. In this episode, we will introduce short-term clones and demonstrate the creation of a short-term clone of an Oracle database using NetApp SnapCenter orchestration software. My name is Arnd de Gier, Product Manager for Azure NetApp Files. I will give you a quick introduction of Azure NetApp Files short-term clones and then give you a quick demonstration of creating a short-term clone copy of an Oracle database using NetApp SnapCenter orchestration software. Short-term clones in Azure NetApp Files let you create writable copies of data volumes in just seconds without the need to allocate the full extra space in the capacity pool. These clones only use a small amount of extra storage, just enough to keep track of any changes you make, so they're space efficient and very fast to create. This feature is perfect for feeding your test and development environments with up-to-date copies of production data, all without impacting your live systems. You can create temporary, instant, and writable clones from any Azure NetApp Files volume snapshot. These clones work just like regular volumes, and only the changes you make require space in the short-term clone volume. The benefits are clear. Short-term clones are highly efficient, fast to create, and ideal for short-lived copies for test and dev and reporting, and they save money. NetApp SnapCenter is a snapshot, backup, and restore orchestration tool that integrates with many database engines and with Azure NetApp Files. It provides an important link in your data protection chain, application consistent snapshots. To achieve this, SnapCenter utilizes an agent on the database virtual machines. This agent is controlled by SnapCenter's central orchestration engine, which is used to schedule database snapshots. Snapshots are metadata copies of database volumes, space efficient by design, and very fast to create. You can take multiple snapshots per day or even per hour to increase your data protection granularity. Additionally, snapshots can be sent to Azure NetApp Files Backup for long-term retention and risk mitigation against volume loss and corruption. But in this how-to, we will concentrate on a new capability in Azure NetApp Files, short-term clones. Short-term clones are space-efficient, writable copies of snapshots, which serve the purpose of creating fresh copies of live databases for test and development, reporting, and other purposes. Now let's see SnapCenter in action with the creation of a short-term clone of an Oracle database volume. First, let's log into our SnapCenter server. We have already had some backup and restore operations before. To create a short-term clone, we first open Resources and find the database we want to create a short-term clone for, ANF NDB1. We now see previously created snapshots of our database. Select Backup of type Data and click on Clone from Backup. This opens a workflow for creating the short-term clone. We provide a SID for the clone, select the destination capacity pool. We are using a flexible service level capacity pool, Aura FSL, and we enter the desired size of the short-term clone volume, large enough to hold the anticipated changes we intend to write to the volume, and the throughput setting for the short-term clone volume, which is required for manual QoS capacity pools, such as those in the flexible service level. Both capacity and throughput can be adjusted later, after the volume clone creation if needed. We will use 50 GB capacity for write and 8 MB per second throughput. We do not need to specify an FQDN or IP address. This will be assigned automatically. We can now select the clone host to which a short-term clone will be mounted. We check and record the data file locations and optionally control files and redo logs. Next, we can select one of the predefined credentials or leave this set to none to provide credentials when opening the short-term clone database copy later. Check the Oracle Home settings and click Next. We can now select pre- and post-processing scripts with arguments. We do not have script requirements for this demo. Next, we enter notification options for email, which we will skip here as well. Now the summary of this operation is shown, and we click Finish to start the short-term clone creation process. In the monitor, we can now see that our clone command was kicked off and follow the process. Click Details and expand the clone task to zoom into the individual steps. Let's now switch to the Azure portal and click Volumes in the Aura FSL capacity pool. Here we find the source volume Aura Data 1 and the clone volume that we just created, as shown here in the green rectangle. Note that our source volume is 1 TB in size, while the short-term clone volume only occupies 50 GB. The short-term clone does this by referencing the unmodified data blocks from the originating volume or data 1 without duplicating or copying them. This represents the space savings achieved by short-term clones. Oracle clones on demand. Fast, easy, cost-effective. Cloning databases has never been easier. SnapCenter creates an application-consistent read-only snapshot, which is used for very fast primary data protection, and it can now also use the same snapshots to create space-efficient and fast short-term clones for test dev, reporting, and data integrity testing. Please use the links or the QR codes to get more information about short-term clones and about NetApp SnapCenter. Thank you for watching this episode of Azure NetApp Files How To.